explosion when something blows up, like when a mushroom blows up in Centipede, it's like a real digitized, explosion from Narc, basically. Which is kind of what it looks like. But there are those people out there that want that. Give them the option.
You can upgrade it. That's fine. You can do something creative with it. You don't need just like a little electronic fart noise and the thing disappears.
Well,
but
the original versions are on there.
You can do it without like obscuring the screen with a bunch of stupid shit.
I totally agree. Right? Yeah, I think we agree about that.
I don't really care so much about that. And the original version is available. I just wish that there were a trackball controller. Can you use the Xbox? I didn't think about this, but maybe you can use the
analog stick
X Arcade. No, I was thinking the X Arcade controller because it is USB, and we have one of those in the office. I should take that home and try it.
Yeah, if you want
to lug that home, that's going to be awesome.
It only weighs about 600 pounds.
Sweet. And this week speaking of bad graphic overhauls, this week's Xbox Live Arcade game is Double Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that already came out.
No.
Oh, we've just been bitching about it preemptively for months.
It's been floating around for a while, but it's actually out this week, so you can actually buy it.
Yeah.
It has the epically amazing new artwork.
Yeah.
I mean, I admire
like
people who...
skit.
Yeah, I admire people who actually take the time to redraw original graphics, but they got to do it well. And
no, I haven't actually seen this. I mean, what sort of style is
I would actually rather they slapped an eagle filter on it.
It's really like, how do I describe it?
It doesn't. It looks like they took the original. They definitely started with the original.
Like they traced
art.
over it, basically.
Yeah, and
so it has that same kind of weird, awkward proportions where people's legs kind of disappear.
It looks like a David Gonterman fighting
really top heavy, and when they walk, they kind of like pivot at their elbows.
Yeah,
it's very strange, but it's in high detail or high resolution, so it's just kind of weird. But whatever. I mean, if it's Double Dragon,
like that
it's probably
weird,
still
soft-edged kind of thing too. That's not quite right.
I don't know. I haven't seen it on an HDTV yet, so I can't say.
Actually, Jason made it. It should be live by the time this is out. He made a comparison video where it goes back and forth, and I mean, I definitely like the original more just because it has like the nostalgia. Yeah, it's like you're not
playing Double Dragon for like a multimedia experience.
Yeah. It might have been cool though if they would have
done it well.
Some talented artists like you're saying with
the Street Fighter 2 remix.
Well, so. I was almost like, for a brief moment, I had like a terrible thought. Remember the box art, the U.S. box art for Street Fighter 2? What if the characters end up being those
the
characters?
Super NES box art?
Yeah, the Super NES box art.
Nice. Or like the G.I. Joe action figures.
They could use the G.I. Joe box art because those were gorgeous.
Oh, that fucking box art for
Chun-Li as a man. Yeah. Fortunately, they're not doing that. They're having, the Japanophiles over at Udon.
Well, they're actually the guys who do the comic.
Right.
Yeah.
So they slavishly imitate.
They didn't
style.
just throw $5 at Dave Gonterman or whatever to do it.
That's twice you've mentioned him. That's probably more publicity
that's what
that man has gotten in 20 years.
I think he needs it.
Probably so. I'm all in favor of people doing up-resed art, but it has to be good. And after playing Odin Sphere for the past week or two, that's how you do up-resed art right. There are no pixels obvious, and so it doesn't have that retro style to it, but it's 2D, it's hand-drawn, you can tell it's hand-drawn. It's really gorgeous and fluid. Double Dragon, not so much.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like a Flash stick figure animation or something. Yeah.
But hey, it's still Double Dragon, which is still pretty fun as long as you don't abuse the elbow smash all the way through. I'd rather play that than Final Fight, to be honest.
Well, I think part of the problem is, take Double Dragon. If you give people really nice, beautiful, up-resed art, then you expect beautiful, smooth, fluid animation, right? So
and that's why I have a lot of trepidation about.
Yeah, we've been arguing back and forth about this. I honestly think you can add frames of animation as long as you're not changing the keyframes and where the hitboxes go.
Fair enough. We'll see how that turns out. But Double Dragon hasn't turned out so well.
Yeah.
And that's all we need to say about that. Let's see. Retro releases, re-releases, etc. this week. Final Fantasy Tactics is coming out in Japan this week.
When's the U.S. release?
Whenever they get around to it. I can't imagine. Well, no, they have to retranslate the whole damn thing, so it may be a while yet. They need to...
Into Javanese?
Yeah, they need to translate it out of Deravanese into something resembling actual spoken English.
Into what's his name, O. Smith or whatever?
Yeah.
Is he doing the localization?
I haven't heard any details about the Final Fantasy Tactics localization. They haven't even said they're doing it.
Yeah.
But unless they hate money, which clearly they don't, considering how they're whoring out the Final Fantasy series these days.
What's that dude's name again?
Alexander O. Smith.
Thank you. I don't know. I always think like Wendy O. Williams, and it's like, no, that's the punk chick who killed herself. And I know she didn't translate.
He deserves a lot of credit
story.
because he's kind of like the main contractor, the point guy they brought in. But I read an interview with him this past week where he was crediting other people. Like, it's a collaborative effort.
Well, yeah. No, it's
really